What's going on, everyone? I'm Taylor from PhoneDog.com, and what I have with me today is the AT&T Samsung Galaxy Note 2. Now, you've seen the Galaxy Note 2 many times so far. Aaron has done a 30-day challenge with it, a full review on different versions, and I've done a written review on the general Galaxy Note 2, covering all the different things about it. What we're going to do here is look at the hardware and software features that may differ in the AT&T version over, say, the Verizon, Sprint, US Cellular, or T-Mobile versions, or even the international version for overseas readers. But before we get started, I'd like to give thanks to our friends at Best Buy Mobile who help you walk out working. You go in, you buy a phone, and say you don't know how to set up your Gmail or your Facebook. They'll do it for you or show you how so you don't have to dig around and figure out how to do it on your own. You can walk out working. But is the AT&T Samsung Galaxy Note for you? Let's find out. Samsung has come a very long way in the mobile industry, and it's devices like this one right here, the Galaxy Note 2, that really show that off. Earlier this year, Samsung released the Galaxy S3, which was virtually the same on all the US carriers, but when you go overseas, it was different. It had a quad-core Exynos processor, whereas the US versions with LTE support had the dual-core Snapdragon S4 chip. But with this one is different. Between it and the international version, which is this one here with the white cover, there's literally no difference, minus your LTE connectivity. The international version is HSPA Plus only, where this one is LTE. But inside, they both have 1.6 gigahertz quad-core Exynos processors, and on the outside, they are virtually the same. This one has AT&T branding, of course, but other than that, they are identical. Same buttons, same everything, colors, everything, which colors can change in time, but everything else is virtually the same on the outside, and even in the hardware. But the big difference is going to be on the inside. You're going to see different apps and things that are carrier specific, like this right here. You've got your AT&T code scanner, family map, locker, navigator, ready to go, smart Wi-Fi, AT&T messages. You've got your hubs, your media hub and music hub, which I didn't see on the international version, and your mobile hotspot, my AT&T, and Riptide also came, I think, pre-installed on this one. I can't remember. But you can see most of these are ones that I have downloaded. But other than that, you're not really going to see a lot of carrier stuff. Samsung has done a great job of keeping the carrier out of the picture here, or at least somewhat out of the picture in the background, with just a few applications versus a lot of the other customizations you would have seen in other phones. But what they've really done is made it great where you can walk into any carrier and pick up virtually the same phone. And another thing they've done is add up tons of value to software features where a lot of others aren't really taking advantage of that potential. And what you can see here is kind of like this. You have your quick settings in the notification bar and your brightness toggle, which those are features that are going to be included in stock versions of Android come Android 4.2, but you know, how long is it going to be before you get those updates? No one knows, but it's great to have that option in devices like these. But they've also added other features like smart rotation, smart stay, which help. For example, the smart stay, if you're reading and looking at the phone, the front-facing camera reads your eyes and makes sure, if you're reading it, make sure the display stays on. Smart rotation, similarly, it uses the front-facing camera and it will rotate. If it's enabled and you tilt your head with the phone won't rotate, or the display, I guess, will not rotate, won't change orientation, which is really nice, and it's little tiny features hidden all throughout the software that you're not going to find elsewhere, except for other Samsung phones. But they've done a really great job of making that part of their experience with this phone. And I wrote an article about that, how Samsung is really setting apart their devices from the competition using software features. And part of that is with this little guy right here, the S Pen. You notice when I pull it out, the Page Buddy comes up, which allows me to just instantly take a note if I'd like to. Sorry, I had to switch hands. I'm a little lefty. But if it's going to work here, you take out the S Pen, Page Buddy pops up if you're on your home screen, and you can start taking notes, which is an awesome little feature. Discard that. But Other things like if you're on your home screen or even say in the browser, we come here, we'll go to Phone Dog, not that. We'll go to the article I wrote this morning. If I'm in here and I wanted to say jot down some notes, I can come in here and just double tap and S Note comes up, so I can still browse, and then I can come in here and write some notes on the pad here, which is it's a great feature to have. But in the same respect, Samsung is adding features, or they've added some since this software build came out. And as you can see, I'm going to move this one to the side, but as you can see here with the international version, there are some features that the Galaxy Note 2 has that you're not going to get on the AT&T version. For instance, if I hold the back button here, if I long press that, I can pull over this multi-view, or multi-window, excuse me. Say we'll go to Maps here. We can open up Maps like that, which is cool. But the kicker here is this feature. So if I'm in Maps, I can split view, stay in Maps, and I can open up YouTube. So it's features like that that I'm not going to get on the AT&T Note 2 for the foreseeable future. Whenever that update comes out, they may be adding it. They may not. I've heard that the Verizon version hasn't, but the AT&T version does not. So I can hold the back button and there's no multi-view that pops up. So in that respect, there are things about the Note 2 that differ on the software side, which this is a feature that I really like. I've used it a lot. So I can come in here and even within this, I can pull out the S Pen. So I've got two apps open. A double tap with my S Pen and I've got an S Note, Maps going, and YouTube. And I can watch a video, and if I open links, I can pull up windows on top of this. It gets to be a little much, but still that just goes to show that if that feature's there and you want to use it, it's there for the taking. You can use it, and I have used it plenty times. And that when I switch back to the AT&T Galaxy Note 2, it's something I missed. But other than those software features aside, they've done a great job of making it virtually the same phone. And as you can see here, I'm on AT&T's 4G LTE network, which has been great in my experience. It was a trade-off. So I've been using the international version on AT&T, and I had to give up LTE for the software features. But LTE was something that I had a hard time giving up, and its speeds. I don't know if I'm going to have a great speed test here. I'm not in a great LTE area, but so far speed tests have been great for me. I mean, 12, 15, my average, I believe, in my written review for this phone was around 25 megabits per second down and maybe 10 or so up, but it's a great advantage having LTE, and it's kind of a trade-off, which most of you aren't going to go out and spend $700 or $800 on the international version, but it's the features for this carrier branded version that you're trading. But in my experience, this one has been very great. The speeds are fantastic. The other thing is how quick it is. You notice, and that's no different than the international version. It's crazy fast. Actually, however, recently I've been getting a little lag. It's not like a stutter or lag where it takes a second to ramp up. That I haven't even experienced. But it's almost like freezing. I've been backing out of apps lately, and they've frozen. And I don't know exactly what that is or why it's happening or what it could be tied to, but I've had force closing applications and then a long freeze after I force close the app. But the quad-core Exynos processor, in I guess average use in most of my usage, has been fantastic. We can come here. Aaron's done a lot of quadrant standard scores. I don't really do benchmarks often, but I guess since it's my first video review, I can do a quadrant standard because I know somebody's going to complain that I didn't. So we can run that, and I'll try to keep talking while it runs. But it's been really fast for me. But the other thing that has been really great, and it's been great on both, the international version not having LTE has been a little better in my experience, but the battery life. Battery life has been fantastic. And that's because inside it has a 3100 milliamp hour battery, which is almost as large as the Droid Razr Max and Droid Razr Max HD with a 3300 milliamp hour battery. But this one has a 3100 milliamp hour battery, and even with LTE all day I've been able to to get by without having to charge halfway through the day or every 4 or 5 hours, I've been able to make it 16, 17, even a day and a half on one charge. My sister got married last weekend, right after I got this phone, and I charged the phone twice. I charged it on Friday, overnight on Thursday night, and I plugged it up Sunday morning. So I used it most of the day, plugged it up Sunday morning, and I was kind of busy. I didn't use it a whole lot, but I used it throughout the day. And then I plugged it up on Sunday night. So Sunday morning, I used it all day Sunday. It was probably 50% by Sunday night. And then I plugged it, actually I didn't plug it up Sunday, I'm sorry, it was in the review. I plugged it up Monday morning, or Monday afternoon. I can't remember exactly. You can go check my written review. It's got great battery life. That's all I'm going to say there. I can't really show you the battery stats on it today because I've been swapping back and forth and turning it on, turning it off. So my battery stats are kind of wiped out. But battery life has been great. And if you see here, that's not at the sacrifice of power or speed. That's a 5939 for those keeping track with benchmarks. It is fantastic on performance, battery life, speed. It's great. But it all depends on what you want. Do you like AT&T's features? Do you need LTE? And if you're not willing to spend $700 or $800, you're not gonna splurge for the international version. Most people aren't. But next to the competition, the Galaxy S3 and say the HTC One X and other AT&T phones, this one is really, it's in a class of its own. It's a quad-core processor. I think the only thing that will even really come close to it right now is the LG Optimus G or the S3. They're pretty similar, but in my experience, this one has been a little more of a powerhouse, and it's a big phone. So if you've got tiny hands, this might not be the phone for you. I can't even reach around. I've got short fingers. I can't reach around the phone. I've got short fingers, but I still love this phone. I've got big thumbs, and I love this phone. It's great. So if you're up for that, if you need a big battery and lots of performance and you want to multitask and do different things, which once this update rolls out, you'll be able to do 2 apps at once. If you look for that, if you need that, this is the phone for you. But if you need something smaller, maybe the S3 or One X Plus or something like that might be more your style. I don't know. But keep it tuned to Phone Dog for more on the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. Thank you.